Hey guys, it's Christina. So, we have to talk about something, and I'm being called to be very real and vulnerable with you guys. So, here we go. If you would have asked me a year ago if I was ever addicted to anything, or currently was addicted to anything, I would have said no with confidence and with complete belief. Now, fast forwarding a year to now, I can tell you that I have gotten over being addicted to two things, and I'm working on the third one currently. Now, first of all, I don't like the word addicted. I just think it has a bad connotation. You know, nobody likes that word. So I prefer to use the word attachment because really that's what it is. An addiction is an attachment to something. It's an attachment, I believe, it's an attachment to something in the external that we feel like we need in order to feel whole and complete, because for whatever reason, we don't feel whole and complete just the way we are here and now in this present now moment. So at this point, I can successfully and honestly say that I have eliminated alcohol and marijuana from my life, and I don't even miss them. A little bit about my history with those two substances quickly. Both of them, I guess, it's been about 10 years, I would say. Well, alcohol, I'm having trouble doing math right now. Anyway, I've been drinking since, before I was 21, and weed, it's been about 10 years since I had been using it for like 10 years regularly, okay? And I never, when that was going on, I never realized that it was such a dependency, such an attachment to it. It was just always readily available, socially acceptable, all that stuff. And so when society makes things so acceptable and readily available, we don't always look at things as being damaging to our health, our minds, our spirits. We just look at it as normal and like there's nothing wrong with it and it's totally fine. And sometimes it is. It depends how you use it. But my point is, I didn't even realize that I had such an attachment to these substances. Why do we use these substances, or why do we go shopping? Why are we attached to shopping? Why are we attached to what's another attachment? Going to the gym and working out, sex. It can be anything that people are attached to. You can literally be attached to anything. And the problem or the downfall of being attached to these things is that attachment is the opposite of freedom. And I believe that one of our bases for life is freedom. Freedom, joy, and growth are the foundations for being in this world, deciding to come down and live this life on earth. So with attachment, we can't have freedom. And I don't know about you, but I want to be free. I want to be free of everything. And I didn't even realize, like, when I was going through, first of all, it wasn't really like my choice, or I didn't see it coming that I was being guided to eliminate these substances from my life. Both the marijuana and the alcohol were simultaneously I was being guided to cut both of them out pretty much at the same time. And it started about a year ago, as I was realizing my spiritual journey was beginning. And I went out to Arizona for a retreat, and that's pretty much when it started. And a 2-week vacation ended up being 6 months in Arizona as time went by. And so during this time, it was like a complete time of like self-discovery and going within and realizing, why do I depend on these things so much. What really started to make me kind of like go, well, do I really need this, was because it got to the point where things were just changing. Things were just changing externally, internally, and I realized that I could easily, whereas before I could easily have like 4 drinks in a night and be fine the next day. And I know that's probably not even a lot compared to what other people can tolerate. But for me, I could have like a few and be fine. Well, it got to the point where I would have like 1 glass of wine or 1 beer or something, and it felt like the equivalent of if I had drank 4. So I realized then with my consumption that something was changing within me, and that my body was no longer processing the alcohol the way that it used to. So I kind of started to pay attention to that. Now, with the weed, I was just guided to, it didn't feel right. Like, when I was out in Arizona, I didn't take any with me. I didn't take any from home with me. So I thought, okay, like 2 weeks, like I'll cut it out. I'll cut it out of my my habits, and I'll pick it back up like when I get home or whatever. And I did have access to it out there. I did have access to it when I went to Arizona. But something was telling me that like it was really like almost wrong, or like it was not in my highest and greatest good anymore. Now these 2 substances specifically, they did have a purpose in my life before. It was how I dealt with, and this is like, I would say that this is the same for, this goes for all attachments. We use them. Why? To feel better. That's the bottom line. To feel better. Because we have these wounds and these emptinesses. We have these things that we've been carrying around for a long time. Most of these wounds and holes like that we're trying to fill stem from childhood, and everybody's set of wounds are unique, but a few popular ones and common ones, and some of mine are and were, our insecurities, our lack of self-confidence, our this video is actually harder than I thought it was going to be. What else? Just we have attachments for avoiding. That's a big one. Avoiding the way we're feeling, avoiding what we need to look at and address, things within ourselves, and also avoiding things that we need to just do, like take action on and stuff. Procrastination, to avoid things like procrastination. So I know I had some more examples, but they're not coming to me right now. So, not being worthy, not thinking that you're enough. That's a big one. And so anyway, we these substances, like, they just make us feel better, and they just make us feel like everything's okay in the moment, and to escape what is unhealed inside of us. And but the thing is, the attachment and the addiction, whatever it is, like, whether it be like I said, shopping, trying to like obtain more to fill that hole, a prescription drug, sex, alcohol, weed, you name it. It's in an attempt to, it's just a band-aid for, we're just putting a band-aid over the issue instead of like giving it air and allowing it to breathe and heal naturally, and from the root. So when I was guided to stop both of these substances, and over time, over like the course of a year, I successfully did do that. I healed parts of myself that I was covering up. And like I said, now I don't even miss them. And I never would have realized, or I never would have believed that I would like see that day and even realize that I was like, you know, so attached to them. I had no idea. Now the thing that I'm working on right now is food. I never freaking thought I would say that I have a food attachment, but I do. And the interesting thing is that it kind of like came to the surface and came to light more so recently within the past few months, because as I healed from my alcohol and my marijuana addiction, the food addiction got bigger, because I cut that out, and now this is like, you know, my attachments are becoming less and less. So I'm going to fixate and I'm going to attach more to what I still have. And it would make sense that that cycle is going to continue until I'm completely free. So I'm kind of hoping that food is the last thing, but we won't know. I won't know until I get through it. I'm getting better each day, and the relapses happen less often, and there's more time and there's more space between my binge eating. That's the thing. So I overeat, I binge eat, and I've always kind of done that, but like in the past, I like I was saying, like I could balance out like a little bit of marijuana, a little bit of alcohol, you know, a little food. Like I kind of had my balance, even though for my body and for the health of literally my physical vessel, they're not healthy. As an addiction, I do believe that they do have their place and they can help to a certain degree, but then it gets to the point where it is no longer beneficial for your overall well-being. So they served so these things serve their purpose until they don't. And I'm at the point now in my life, in my spiritual journey, just in my time, that I am being called to release all attachment from everything. And it's freaking scary, you know, it's freaking scary. But you know what? It's like helping me to come back into wholeness, connect with who I really am, heal myself in ways that I didn't even know were wounded. I didn't even know needed healing. And it's very uncomfortable to face these things. It's very uncomfortable to sit in it and not reach for that thing. It's right there. That cigarette is right there. That pill is right there. You know, that drink is right there. It's so accessible. It's too accessible. That sugar is right there. That's my biggest thing right now with the food, the sugar. So yeah, so I just needed to, like I said, I was being called to get on here and be super vulnerable with you guys and just share with you a little bit about like addiction and attachment, and how it's more common than we might think. And even though we think that we maybe don't have a dependency on something, maybe we do, know that it's okay. And also know that if you can't use it without, like, if you're okay that it's not there, then that's fine. I guess you're not dependent on it. But like, if you get to the point where like you get mad or like angry that it's not there, then you know, you might want to ask yourself, like, okay, why do I feel so attached to this? Like, what is going on inside of me? Like, how am I feeling? Why do I have such a strong impulse to reach for that? What do I feel like is missing that I'm trying to fulfill? How I've been dealing a little bit with my addictions or my attachments and being able to let them go. And I'll be honest, I don't always do it all the time. I do just let the impulse happen sometimes and, fall back into it. But the best thing to do for me, the way to kind of make progress with this, at least a little, is to, when you're triggered, stop. Don't react to that impulse. Just freaking stop. Tell yourself stop. Just sit with yourself for a minute and feel that uncomfortableness and ask yourself, first of all, identify what you're feeling. Is it anger? Is it fight or flight feelings? Is it unworthiness? Is it what are you running away from? Sit with that for a second and just breathe. Just breathe into it, and it's going to be uncomfortable. Probably for longer than you want to be uncomfortable for. Breathe into it. Doing a meditation, even though it might not sound fun, doing a meditation has also helped me. So stopping, feeling, and breathing, that is the best way to start diving in, kind of like going inside, starting to look inside of yourself for the answers and for the healing and for those solutions, versus going outside, because it's not going to help in the long run. Anybody who is resonating with me right now knows that, even if you don't want to admit it. Getting out in nature is also a big one that helps me to ground, to center myself, to put things in perspective. I encourage everybody to get out in nature more. It's just the energy of it. It calms us. It literally brings us back to our roots. It brings us back to who we are, who our centers. It helps us to remember who we are on a deeper level. When we connect our spirit to the spirits of everything around us, the trees, these saw palmettos that are around me, the leaves, every single pine needle, yeah. Another thing I want to mention, and this will be the last thing, I guess. So another thing I want to mention is that when you take the steps to heal yourself, like when you take the steps and you actually put the effort forth and the intention forth of getting over these unhealthy cravings and unhealthy attachments that don't serve you anymore and you would really like to get over, you will be helped along the way. There will be people sent in your path when you need them the most that can help you through. And when these things happen, you're like, oh my God, really? How did that just happen? That's been happening to me a lot lately, and that's how I know. So, for people who believe in a higher power, this is kind of where I'm getting at with what I'm getting at with this. as I'm taking steps towards becoming whole and releasing my attachments to things. For example, yesterday, okay, I'll just give you an example. Yesterday, I was having a really hard day. I was like, I ate healthy. Like, I was doing fine with the eating thing. I was doing fine with my food. I had a salad for lunch and everything was good. I felt content and satisfied. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm going to stop. I'm just going to stop. I'm going to just decide to stop. And, I got triggered for some reason. I don't even remember why, but all of a sudden that feeling was there, that fight or flight, that, oh my God, like I need to do something right now. Like something's wrong. Like I don't feel safe. I feel like I need to run away from something. And, so I was having a really hard time, and I was getting all of these signs, like just like stop and just breathe and, you know, do the steps that I mentioned. And, I walked past I was in like a kind of like a park setting, and I walked past these two kids. They looked like teenagers, and they were sitting on the bench, and I was heading into the bathroom, and this kid's shirt says Jesus loves you. And I'm like, I looked at him and I was like, thank you for wearing that shirt today, because I really needed to hear that. And I'm not like trying to make this a religious video or anything like this, but like just my journey has been really crazy lately, and I've been like being called to come back to God pretty much, or the universe, spirit, like whatever you want to call it. So these things have been coming into my experience. So which I never like I was never really a believer in anything, and so like just saying this out loud was like kind of difficult for me. But anyway, so I thanked him for wearing that shirt, and because like I just like wanted to cry for who knows why. I just wanted to cry. So I went into the bathroom, did my thing, and I came back out, and I don't know if it was his girlfriend or the girl who was there with him. She was like standing outside the freaking bathroom waiting for me to come out. And she's like, hey, she's like, what was your name? And I was like, oh, it's Christina. And she's like, can I like pray for you? And I was like, sure. Okay. Like, what are you gonna say? No? Can't hurt. So she literally stood there in front of me, and she put her hand on my shoulder, and she just started with whatever she was saying. And I'm like, I don't know how I can't pray like that. Like, I don't know how to pray. So I just let her do her thing, and I let a few tears go, and you know what? Like, I actually felt a lot better. So it was just so nice for her to go out of her way to do that for me. And, you know, regardless of if you believe in the power of prayer or not, like, you know, you can at least believe in the power of good people, and the power of that people, whatever you need at your specific point in your journey, your needs will be met. You won't even have to try, like, you won't even have to like look for help. It'll be there when you need it. If you ask for help in whatever way, maybe you don't even know how, but maybe you just ask for help, it will be there. I didn't know I was gonna run into this kid with a Jesus shirt on, you know? I mean, I didn't even know that I needed to see the Jesus shirt that day, you know? But those two kids, I was like, my God. And afterwards, I was like, thank you so much. Like, I was like, what's your name besides Angel, you know? And so that just really like was an eye-opening experience, because it made me realize that I am doing the right thing by continuing to work through the attachments. It's almost like, you know, we have those days where it's like, when is this freaking gonna end? And it's also like, some days you think that it's over and it's gone, but then like the next day it's right back there. It's right back again, and you're like, oh my God, like I thought I was over this. And, you know, I keep having to remind myself that these things happen, these things heal in layers. Healing happens in layers. So, you know, you heal a little bit now, and then it comes back up, and you heal a little bit then. So it's like, it's an ongoing thing, and it builds your resiliency, and it builds your strength for sure. Is it annoying? Hell yeah. Is it unpleasant? Yeah, really unpleasant. But for anybody who's resonating right now, like, keep going. You know, keep going. Like, I'm there with you, and I never would. I don't like labels, but I would never label myself as like, an addict or anything, or being attached to stuff. The reality is, we're all attached to stuff. We're human. We live in a physical world. We're attached to stuff. It's physical, so it's only natural. But part of the healing journey, and part of coming back to who we are, is to realize, and to realize that we're good the way we are, and we can truly be free and healed and whole. And what this addiction or this attachment is trying to teach you is how to heal back into your wholeness. And it feels really good. It really does. It really does feel really good the further down the road you get to, freedom. So keep going. Keep going. Whoever needs to hear that, myself included. Keep going. You got this. You've done hard stuff your entire life. So it's time to do some hard things that, make you feel better, make you a better person. And you will really begin to see the ripple effect that your healing has on not only yourself, but everything around you. Hope you guys got something from this. And yeah, stick with it. You got this. Stay strong. We will get through this.